Hello, and you're watching VTV News live from Hanoi. I am Xuân Tùng. Here come the headlines for this half hour. U.S. Senator Patrick Leahy begins Vietnam visit. Farmers enjoy the new role as companies' shareholders. And Vietnamese Day for People with Disabilities celebrated. First up, President pro tempore of the U.S. Senate Patrick Leahy begins his 5-day official visit to Vietnam yesterday at the invitation of National Assembly Chairman Nguyễn Sinh Hùng. We now take a look at the detail of his visit.
On Thursday afternoon, Communist Party of Vietnam General Secretary Nguyễn Phú Trọng received the United States Senator and his delegation. Leahy praised Vietnam's increasing position and appreciated the effective multifaceted cooperation between two countries since they signed comprehensive partnership in July last year. He thanked Vietnam for the assistance in MIA issue and pledged continued support in alleviating the aftermath of war in Vietnam. Trọng paid great compliments to the U.S. support for Vietnam and stressed Vietnam's diplomatic viewpoint of independence, sovereignty, peace, development, and multilateral relationships, proactive global integration. He said Vietnam considers the U.S. a top most important partner and desired to witness new development in mutual cooperation in views of the 20th anniversary of the two countries' normalization in 2015. Earlier in the day, the United States Senator was welcomed and held talks with National Assembly Chairman Nguyễn Sinh Hùng in Hanoi. Hùng said that Vietnam always paid great attention to promote relations with the U.S. and is determined to realize agreements signed between the two countries in the spirit of comprehensive counterpart relations. He urged the two sides to intensify exchange to speed up the recognition of Vietnam's market economy and to complete TPP negotiations.
In economic news, on Thursday morning, a conference was held in Hanoi to begin the second implementation scheme of a $2.5 billion credit package for Hanoi's construction industry. The event was attended by representatives from the State Bank of Vietnam and the Ministry of Construction. The package's goal is to streamline material supply through delayed payment system that link investors, contract holders, material suppliers, and banks. These parties will sign a single contract for improved coordination and a massive reduction in administrative delays. It is planned that the first $450 million will be supplied as short-term loans for construction materials in 2014. The party's Central Economic Commission held a seminar on the role of the capital market in restructuring in the Central Coastal Province of Bình Định today. Participants at the seminar discussed the definition of the capital market and its role in developing a market-oriented economy and economic restructuring in Vietnam. They also analyzed the capital market in Vietnam by scale, structure, standard, advantages and disadvantages, and its relation to the monetary market, fiscal policy, and monetary policy. They also suggested measures and policies to boost the capital market in the future. Vietnam wants to develop a diverse capital market in 2020, which can meet the demand for capital and investment from all economic sectors on a par with other markets in the region. What used to be a dream became a reality this April when An Giang Plant Protection Joint Stock Company presented shareholder certificates to farmers. Although it's only a pilot program, the concept has been attracting attention in the Mekong Delta region.
An Giang Plant Protection JSC launched its first big field model a few years ago to help struggling farmers. An Giang offered farmers who joined their scheme a guarantee to buy all their rice and a 0% tax on pesticides, give them security and higher profit.
I'm delighted to receive my shares today. We never imagined this would happen. We're usually busy working in the land and tending to our crops, and never imagined we would own a share in the company. We are hugely excited about becoming shareholders. The benefits from this will be enormous.
On April 15, 100 farmers representing a body of 1,724 shareholders received share certificates from Anzang Plant Protection. Depending on revenue, each year's shareholders will enjoy dividends. According to Lai Xuân Mon, Vice Chairman of the Vietnam Farmers Association, the model elevated the farmers' position and contributed to the government's economic restructuring efforts.
This enterprise model is excellent and should be followed by others to give the country's agriculture sector a facelift. The end goal is for the farmers to benefit.
A total of $2.7 million was collected from the sales of shares, and the money will be invested in rice production train.
We expect to eventually sell a 20% stake to the farmers. When our factories start to show a profit, we will distribute more shares, and farmers will have a say in how the company is run. That's the advantage of benefits sharing.
This discount share distribution program run by Anzang Plant Protection has given farmers the opportunity to own part of one of their country's leading agriculture companies. From here, farmers will have a say in how much the rice they grow is sold for, which is the first in the Mekong Delta and would pave the way for similar models in the future.
This happens again. Chinese traders have been using various schemes to bulk buy seafood, but this is old news because it happens every harvest season. The seafood market is turbulent and the domestic sector is struggling due to unfair competition, and the following report will bring you more on this.
For the fishermen here, Chinese traders are familiar faces. Several years ago, Chinese traders first mistaken as tourists arrived here at Vĩnh Lương fishing port. Either face-to-face or through agents, they started to buy up vast quantities of seafood. Dogfish are common in Vĩnh Lương, but when Chinese traders get involved in the market, the price of dogfish can double and domestic buyers can't compete.
Fishermen say Chinese traders are behind these purchases, but there's no evidence because every batch of seafood looks the same. No one can really tell if someone is buying for anything other than selling in retail markets.
Foreign traders have had a disastrous impact on Vietnamese seafood processing enterprises. This is the Thông Thuận Cam Ranh JSC's shrimp processing factory. From 60 tons of input a day, it is down to 10 to 15 tons. The reason for this is foreign buyers, either through secret exchanges or open transactions, they're offering to pay 15 to 20% more than usual. Vietnamese enterprises, either big or small, can't afford to compete.
They don't have a license to buy or export overseas, and they are subsidized by their government. They are also not bothered about quality, which can lead to bad habits among Vietnamese fishermen.
The Vietnam Fisheries Association says that it's hard to control Chinese traders because the fishing industry lacks links between supply chains. There are big gaps in the supply chains that leave opportunities for foreign traders to manipulate the market and put pressure on domestic buyers. Take lobsters in the central region, for example. The annual yield is 2,000 tons annually, but 80% is exported in small batches to China. Fishermen don't make profit, and nor do local seafood enterprises.
Moving on to other news. In the run-up to Vietnam's participation in the United Nations peacekeeping task scheduled for the second quarter this year, many military experts and scholars have come to Hanoi to explain their ideas and practical experience in a conference named Peacekeeping, the International Situation and Experience for Vietnam. We now take a look.
As planned, Vietnam will participate in United Nations peacekeeping in 4 areas: as observer, advisors, in engineering, and in a medical capacity in conflict-free areas. Besides English training, other skills will be needed for Vietnamese to be peacekeepers.
We must build a professional force dedicated to community service and United Nations peacekeeping. Our most important step is the very first phase.
So it's a new experience for Vietnam. Vietnam's prestige is at stake, so it must go slowly and learn from experience. But it has many, many friends around the world with peacekeeping experience that are willing to share that with Vietnam, and then Vietnam can gradually increase. It has expertise in military medicine, mine clearance, and trained military observers. So it's an important step. It's an obligation, really, for UN members to participate.
Since Prime Minister Nguyen Tân Dung officially announced that Vietnam will participate in United Nations peacekeeping in the Shangri-La talk last year, many countries have praised this commitment as an important move from the country. This means Vietnam will increase its strategic position in Southeast Asia and shows that it takes its international responsibility seriously.
We appreciate this decision very much. Germany can share its experiences. We have a lot of experience in participating in peacekeeping missions.
Deputy Minister of National Defense Nguyễn Chí Vịnh said in an interview with VTV that Vietnam is scheduled to join United Nations peacekeeping in South Sudan and Mali.
According to Foreign Ministry spokesperson Lê Hải Bình, Vietnam is examining its nationality registration procedures for Vietnamese expatriates to ensure their legitimate rights and interest. Binh was responding to reporters' queries at the regular press briefing in Hanoi on Thursday, amidst concerns about the small numbers of Vietnamese residents abroad who have registered to retain the Vietnamese nationality. Binh quoted Vietnam's constitution saying Vietnamese expatriates are an indispensable part of the Vietnamese nation. He stressed that relevant authorities are looking into procedures to devise proper solution to ensure the legitimate rights and interests of Vietnamese residents overseas. Coming up next, Vietnamese Day for People with Disabilities, an occasion to call on people to pay more attention to disadvantaged people. And we take a look at foreign artists' contribution to the success of Huế Festival 2014. You're watching VTV News live from Hanoi. Today, April the 18th, is Vietnamese Day for People with Disabilities. There are currently about 6.7 million people with disabilities living in Vietnam, half of whom are women, and about 1.2 million are children. President Trương Tấn Sang held a meeting with people with disabilities and representatives of disabled people's organization in Hanoi yesterday. The president confirmed that the party and state always paid special attention to the disabled community through specific policies. Care for the disabled has improved, but prejudice remain that hinder their efforts to integrate into the community, he said. President Sang asked relevant agencies and the public to continue caring for people with disabilities. The Vietnam's Disabled People's Association has 17 members societies in provinces and cities nationwide. Well, the fact that 6 million people with disabilities are currently living in Vietnam, and many of them find it very hard to find a job. However, some companies in Da Nang City are employing people with disabilities and treating them as equals. The lack of prejudice is helping many of those with disabilities to become more confident and integrate into the community.
Trương Sang Nam is an information technology graduate. He now works for Da Nang FPT Shopware together with 9 other people with disabilities. The job is suitable for Nam and brings him a good income. Before he got the position, Nam traveled around the country in search of employment. I tried in vain to apply for a job in Ho Chi Minh City. I'm very grateful to the company's leaders. I hope that other companies will also welcome people with disabilities like me. Besides FPT Shopware, other companies in Da Nang An are willing to employ people with disabilities. These companies also provide vocational training for them. Indian company now has 6 disabled employees who earn about $150 a month.
After people with disabilities are recruited, they can study different jobs and then choose which job is more suitable for them. They are very happy and work hard.
Da Nang has over 16,000 people with disabilities, and 30% of them have a job with one of 40 companies across the city. There are also more than 50 vocational training units for people with disabilities in Da Nang that provide more job opportunities for disabled people.
We provide vocational training and job opportunities for people with disabilities. We also set up groups throughout the city to help people with disability to access training and employment more easily.
Thanks to the support of provincial authorities and companies, more and more people with disability in Da Nang can find good jobs now and live independent, integrated lives.
To celebrate Vietnamese Day for People with Disabilities, the Nguyễn Đình Chiểu Secondary School in Hanoi recently opened a small library of Braille books. Our following report will show you how the school for the visually impaired made use of these limited facilities and a small donation to turn the blind kids' dreams of reading into a reality.
Touched, excited and fascinated is what these visually impaired kids feel when they first read the books from their new libraries. Books on literature, history and social issues are all printed in Braille letters so the children can use their hands to read. This small library is called Bridge to the World, is in a way making up for the students' visual impairment.
I call for donations from my friends and both Vietnamese and international organizations to create this library with the aim of creating a bridge that can connect these kids to the world.
Compared to audiobooks, Braille books have many advantages that can help the kids be more proactive in their reading.
With these books, I can read faster and more accurately, so I can learn why I am reading. I like this library very much and I visit it often. It has many interesting books on a wide range of subjects.
Each of these books have been published according to copyright laws with permission from authors, translators or publishers. Visually impaired teacher Ngô Văn Hiếu is in charge of printing the books along with some of his students.
It takes a lot of time to complete a book, but all the visually impaired people at the school are very excited about the library, so we receive enthusiastic help from everyone. These books bring the kids new experiences they never had before. We hope that in the future more donations will be made so we can expand the library.
To live without light is a great misfortune, but books are a form of light that brighten people's mind. Books and libraries are often hailed as bridges to knowledge, but libraries such as this one that help visually impaired people from even more important bridge.
The project, Digital Textbooks Foundation for Educational Renovation, was launched today by Intel Group in collaboration with the Vietnam Education Publishing House and the U.S. Embassy. The event was part of ongoing efforts to innovate the education strategy in the 2011-2020 period. The digital textbook device contains more than 300 book titles from grade 1 to grade 12. With this device, user can look for a revised edition of this textbook for free or refer to other multimedia resources for more interaction. The device is also integrated with a translated English course at Oregon University. The project is expected to improve teaching and studying methods, especially in remote areas. 100 devices have already been donated to rural schools. In other news, half of the art troops performing at Hue Festival 2014 come from 36 foreign countries. What they have brought us are distinctive performances, revealing each country's cultural identity. This has turned the festival into a multinational party.
Belgian stilt walkers on the street have become a familiar image for Hue people as they have performed at the festival since 2008.
We have combined stilt walking with music since 1945. This is the third time we have performed at Hue Festival, but it seems to be a fresh experience for us.
Coming to this festival, we had the chance to learn more about Vietnamese culture as well as others. We can also meet more friends here. And then we get more opportunities to perform at festivals in different countries. I hope to come back here for the next festival.
Besides street carnival, the traditional performances of various countries have also taken place on many stages in the imperial citadel. Traditional performances of Myanmar's Lisu folk dance troupe drew the attention of many Vietnamese people and international friends.
First of all, I just feel really happy to be able to attend this wonderful festival here in Hue. I feel like it's a great opportunity to exchange cultures with other countries, and it's just really fun being part of the dance group as well. I mean, to go around and showing our cultural dance to other people is really exciting and fun.
At Hue Festival 2014, foreign artists not only introduced their culture, but also combined their culture with Vietnam's, creating a distinctive exchange. On April 16th, the stage at An Palace was filled with the sounds from the combination of Vietnamese and African traditional instruments by Malian artist Musbasa.
Malian and Vietnamese music have many similarities, with many songs based on the pentatonic scale, so we decided to mix the traditional music of the two countries.
Nearly 800 artists from 36 countries performing at Hue Festival 2014 have made it an artful and fun party, blending the cultural identities of 5 continents.
The 6th Hennessy Artistry Concert was held at the National Convention Center last night, delighting music lovers with a blend of top talents and emerging artists from around the world. This year's 8th Artistry Concert brought together U.S. singer, songwriter, actress, and television personality Kelly Rowlands, Australian singer Timmatic, and Republic of Korean rock band Nemesis, along with Vietnamese artists Nguyễn Thùy Trang and DJ Slim V. The spotlight was on Kelly Rowlands, a 4-time Grammy winner and former members of Destiny Child, and the audience had a chance to enjoy many of her famous hit songs. The event also featured dance performances from Timmatic, the 3rd-place runner from Australian Got Talent Season 5, under the theme Art Brings the World Closer. A message of follow your dreams and passion was delivered. And up next is the only news about Vietnam. We begin Vietnam Online today with news from Global Times. Vietnam's software industry has secured a place in the top 10 software exporters in the world, according to the Vietnam Software Association. In the first quarter of 2014, many local software companies signed export contracts for the whole year, and their total annual revenue is expected to increase between 20 to 25% against the previous year. TMA Solutions forecast the software outsourcing market would maintain a stable growth towards the year end, as most of the contracts had been secured in the year to date. Similarly, Global Cybersoft won many outsourcing contracts from the Japanese and North American market in the first 3 months of this year, and this helped the company register a strong growth of some 25%. Vietnam News Agency quoted experts that Vietnam should give top priority to dealing with joint malnutrition in the country. Participants at the seminar held Wednesday in central Da Nang City stressed the need to include nutrition assessment, consultancy services, and special treatment products in the list of things covered by health insurance. These will be the best measures to provide timely prevention and treatment to malnourished children in Vietnam, they said. Experts hoped these would help reduce the rate of stunned children under 5 years old to below 23% by 2020. VOV.VN reports that an art troupe from La Comunidad, the National Children's Theatre of Cuba, will perform in Hanoi on April the 23rd. The troupe will bring Vietnamese audiences, especially children, an attractive program with rock and roll music and funny fairy tales, before performing for the first time at Hue Festival 2014. Established in 1990, La Comunidad has delivered performances at hospitals and rehabilitation centers for the disabled people over the past 24 years. In addition, the troupe has also participated in giving free performances at squares and theaters to serve the Cuban people.
News.vn reports that by the end of last Sunday, over 49,000 tourists, including 21,600 foreigners, arrived in Hue City to join the 2014 Hue Festival, which opened last Saturday and closed on April the 20th. According to the festival organizing board, the international tourists coming from over 100 countries and territories, hotel room occupancy has reached 100%. Tourists who join tours provided by local travel companies take up to 80% of the total number. According to the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development and the Vietnam Food Association, Vietnam has won the contract to supply 800,000 tons of 15% broken well-milled white rice to the Philippines. The information was released by Oriza News on Thursday. The tender is likely to be awarded to Vietnam's Vinafood 2, which submitted the lowest bid on the Philippines' open tender to import 800,000 tons of rice on Wednesday. Vietnam Plus has the final figure. The 24th Vietnam International Trade Fair, or Vietnam Expo, kicked off in Hanoi on April the 16th, with the participation of more than 600 exhibitors from over 20 countries and territories worldwide. In addition to areas showcasing machines, electronic products, and food and beverages, this year's fair includes a space for booths to promote investment in the industrial sector. Information about industrial zones and their preferential policies for investors are available to visitors. The fair will last until April the 19th.
Let's take a look at the updated weather forecast. That's the end of our news bulletin. Thank you very much for watching, and you can always find update on our programs at VTV4.VN. Goodbye for now from Hanoi.